TikTok, Facebook, YouTube live. How are we all? Are we all good? It is Friday, the 16th of May. We're over halfway through May. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Life is good. I've just got back from teaching my second spin class of the week. Tough one today. We did a 90s Ibiza workout, which was very good. Some very good tunes. I was very impressed with the tunage. But yeah, really good, tough workout. And I'm saying I was starving. I've not really eaten much today. I did have a bottle of full sugar Oasis straight after. Fast digesting carbs after an intense workout. Re-energizes you, but I'm definitely ready for a bit of protein. That will be lunch though after this live. We're going to be on for about 45 minutes today, guys. I'm going to chill this one a little. I know I normally do an hour, but just chill this one a little bit sooner. Obviously, being out the house for an hour spinning, a couple of hours spinning, and that I've got a lot of work to get through. So anyway, there we are. But we're here, we're here and we're all good. And yeah. There we are. It is Fri-Weigh. Why do we call these lives Fri-Weigh? Because it is client check-in day. So my clients check in every 2 weeks. So I have half of my clients check in one Friday. Half of my clients check in another Friday. It's also been my check-in today. First one for 4 weeks. So last time I got on the scales was 4 weeks ago. It was the 18th of April. Because last time when it was my check-in, I was meant to check in, but my official check-in day, I was in Spain. And I was meant to check in on the Wednesday morning before I went, and I just forgot. So, and I've not touched the scales since. So I've got on the scales this morning, and I am 0.2 pounds down. So basically I maintain, which I am absolutely buzzing with, if I'm being honest with you. Should you be buzzing with a maintain? Yeah, you should really. Well, you should never be disappointed with a maintain. If you're maintaining for long periods of time, then you're not in a calorie deficit. But if you get the odd maintain, it's going to happen every now and then. But for me, why am I buzzing with a maintain? I'll break it down for you. I normally, at the moment, I'm putting myself in around about a 5,250 calorie deficit a week, right? And that is 1.5 pounds. So this is a pound of body fat, and I am aiming to lose one of these, 1.5 of these, right? So that is what I'm aiming to do. So it's 4 weeks since I got on the scales. Out of those 4 weeks, I've had 3 weeks in a calorie deficit, which would be 4.5 pounds of fat loss. I've had 1 week in a calorie surplus. Now, I have no idea what that surplus was. Why? Because I didn't track calories. I tracked calories on the Monday and the Tuesday, and I was 1,000 calories under. So I'm in a 1,000 calorie deficit there, but from Wednesday up until Sunday, I was nowhere near a calorie deficit. I was in a calorie surplus. How do you know you're in a calorie surplus, Neil, when you didn't track your calories? You know when you're in a calorie surplus. I know what I need to do to go into a calorie deficit. I know what my maintenance calories was. And I guarantee when you're drinking beer from 11 in the morning till 11, 12 o'clock at night, for 4 days straight, and the food you are consuming is deep fried burgers and chips and kebabs at the end of the night, and we did have a couple of nice meals as well. And in between those beers, there's lots of baby Guinnesses and a few other bits and pieces. Yeah, I'm in a calorie surplus. That's absolutely fine. How much of a calorie surplus? I don't know, but I do know now. Why do I know now? Well, I was in a calorie surplus for 4.5 pounds of fat gain, basically. So week 1 after my check-in, 1.5 pound loss. Week 2 after my check-in, 1.5 pound loss, 3 pounds down. I've gone on holiday, gained 4.5 pounds in body fat, right? So that would put me 1.5 pounds up. And since I've come back from holiday, I've been in a kind of a week calorie deficit, week or so calorie deficit, 1.5 pounds down. And that's where I've hit my maintenance. And looking back, so to gain 4.5 pounds in 5 days, because although I came back on the Sunday morning, Sunday was probably more calorific than any other day in terms of food. I literally ate a large Papa John's double pepperoni pizza at night time, which is around about 3,000 calories. Traveling back from Spain, I had my breakfast in the hotel, which would have been 1,000 calories. I then had a sausage, a breakfast wrap on the plane, some Pringles and some chocolate. That would have been 1,000 calories. So that's two. Fat, I probably ate 7,000 calories on the last day, right? But anyway, to gain 4.5 pounds of body fat, you need to be in around about a 15 to 16,000 calorie surplus. If I divide that by 5, that would suggest I ate about 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day on average. And do you know what? I think that was pretty spot on. I don't reckon that's a million miles away, because it's not like a holiday where I go with Rachel. I might have a day on or a day off, or I might be a bit boozy for a day, but not to the extent of going away with a group of mates. So yeah, it was an intense 4 or 5 days, but I'm buzzing with it. So I've had a great time. I've really enjoyed myself. It's put a little pause button on my journey. I'm exactly the same way as I was now as I was at the end of April. Well, 18th of April. And now it's just crack on with the journey. So it's all good. Right, so we did top 5 this morning because I've just been waffling for 5 or 6 minutes. Callum's in at number 1. Faye's in at number 2. Hannah's in at number 3. Anna is in at number 4. And Dodsy's in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you as always for jumping straight on the live. Dodsy, I've got your check-in. Hannah, I've got your check-in. Anna, I think I've got your check-in as well. I was up quite early this morning. I have piled in and worked my way through a large amount of check-ins already, but I have got a few that have come in while I've been out spinning. I have done no challenge check-ins, by the way, guys. So if you are on the Boss Your Weight Loss Challenge, 5. Can you believe that on the chat? We always say this when the challenge is going, like how quick it goes. We are on check-in 5 of the challenge, which is just honestly it just goes so fast. So you challengers, after today, you have got one more check-in, and then you are done. Then the challenge is done. So you'll be done in 2 weeks. 2 weeks today, you will be done. It will be the end of May. And then the second group of challenge check-ins finish on the 6th, and that's when I'll announce. You'll have a week to wait, I'm afraid, to see how well you've done in the challenge. And it's going to be really, honestly, I can't believe what people have put into this challenge. It is going to be really, really close. Really, really close. Charlotte's in, good morning. Lisa's in, good morning. Helen, good morning. Sheila, good morning. And Michelle, I think, Michelle, you are next up. You are my next check. So I'm going to get all my standard check-ins done, and then I'll do all my challenge check-ins back to back at some point this afternoon. Kelly C, good morning. Stefan's in. Go Bill. Who's Bill? Clinton? Gates? I don't know. Anyway, good morning, mate. Kirsty B, good morning. And Helen, lovely to hear the bit. I know, it's so nice. Honestly, I'm sat. This is my view at the moment. Excuse my wash it. I can't show you on TikTok or on YouTube or Facebook, but I can show you. This is my view at the moment. We've got a cockapoo there having a look about. This is my garden. I've got some washing out, and the sun is shining and the birds are chirping, and I've got my doors wide open, looking out into the garden. It is stunning here at the moment. Really, it's like the perfect weather for the UK. You don't need it. Like when I go to Spain, I want it 30 degrees. I want to be melting on my sun lounger. I'm not going to lie. But here in the UK, this at the moment is perfect. It's dropping. It was cold this morning. I actually had my heater on this morning, sat in here. Perfect. Cold in the morning, cold at night time, so you're not overly hot while you're sleeping, but in the sun through the day, beautiful. 20 degrees. I think it was 18 and a half or 19 degrees in the car just driving over there. Perfect. It's freezing on the East Coast. Oh, dear, the East Coast. We've been lucky. We're lucky over here on the Fylde coast. It is very, very nice. But yeah, this is what you want when you're working in it. I don't want it humid. I don't want it 30. Just dry, bit of warmth. If I wanted to sit in the garden this afternoon and soak up a bit of sun, I could do. Really nice walking the dogs at night time. Oh, it is. It's heaven. I didn't quite make the next strong bracket, but defo will next check in. Great here, Michelle. We'll have a look after, at some point. I'm going to, basically, this is my plan for the rest of the day. Weather here has been amazing up here. And Karen, you're a good 2 or 3 hours above me. So, yeah, I always have a look at, my friends live in, got some friends that live in Belfast. And I always have a little look at their, Blossom, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yeah, could you rescue them, please? They'll be good socks. Blossom's just run out with my good socks, and she does have a habit. She does like underwear and eating it. So she looked at me like, what do you want? You shouldn't have left them where I could get them, Dad. Anyway, weather has been amazing. Yeah, and he's always generally a bit cooler up north. Like, we're always a bit colder than, obviously, like the south coast. But yeah, the weather is just stunning. It really, really is. I can't believe it's the last 2 weeks and no Faye on the chat. It does go so fast. 3 weeks today is the 6th of June. The challenge will be done, and one of you guys that have entered it will be £500 richer, tax-free cash paid straight into your bank account. Second place is 150. Third place is 100 quid. And fourth and fifth place, you will get, if you are on a monthly subscription, you will get 2 months free. So you will get July and August subscriptions free if you come fourth or fifth. If you have paid up for a year, which some of you have, then I will sort you out a little bonus on. I'll sort some out. Don't worry. You will get a little bit of something back. Anyway, there we go. Right. I've had a good check-in in terms of results, but also expressed some mental struggles, just so you're aware. Absolutely, Callum. And that's what check-ins are all about. Look, you check in whichever way you want to check in. I ask for, I'm getting, hang on, I might not be on my booster here. I'm neglecting you guys on YouTube and Facebook. Let me just switch this over to my booster. Lovely. And then I'm going to answer Scott's question on Facebook. Right, I'm going to come in with check-ins. I've just neglecting YouTube, Facebook, and I've just seen Scott's asked on NutriCheck app, do you include the fitness you do or just count what you eat? So, someone asked this. It might have been Scott, actually. To be honest. Someone asked this on my Instagram, and I'm going to reply to them. They commented. So I did a little video about. Someone said, commented on Facebook. Oh, I wish we could have an app where you can look at your weekly calories as well as daily. You can in NutriCheck. You can in MyFitnessPal, to be honest with you, but it's not as straightforward in MyFitnessPal. Someone asked, did I look at the video on that? Why do you not include your exercise calories? Your daily calories or your weekly calories that you are sticking to should include your average movement, right? Now, some weeks you'll do a bit less, some weeks you'll do a bit more, but whatever you do on average, that is what they should include. So let's say you've got an Apple Watch, right? And you signed up to my plan or you came into my community. I ask you what your average steps are, and then I can base. What do you do? Well, you go into your health app and you look at your steps. For, say, you can select the last 6 months. What have your steps been the last 6 months? Last 6 months. Have they been? What have your steps been for the last 6 months? Have they been? What's the word? Have they been 6,000? Have they been 7,000? 8,000? Doesn't matter, right? What has your average steps been? If you actually looked week on week, your steps would vary, but what has your average steps been? But anyway, when you are working out your calories, right, you should include your average. You should include your average steps. Your average work, your average exercise. So average steps and how many gym sessions. You know, some weeks you might go to the gym 4 times a week. Sometimes you might go twice a week. Average is 3, isn't it? So your calories that you're sticking to should include that, right? So that's why you don't. So that's the main reason why. So you then wouldn't add any exercise calories that these things say back on to your calories, because you're just going to end up eating way more than you should be doing. The other thing is, these are rubbish at showing your actual calories. They're really optimistic. They're great for accountability because you'll learn numbers. So I always say this, when I go to the gym, I like to burn on average 10 calories per minute. And if I burn 10 calories per minute, I know I've had a good workout, whatever I'm doing. Right, now I've done spin this morning and I burn about 20 calories per minute because it's very, very intense. If I'm doing weights, I try and burn 10 calories per minute. If I'm doing a cross trainer session, I'll try and do 15 calories per minute, right? But if I go, that's represented on here. Am I actually burning those calories? No, because these are optimistic. And the results on these can vary depending on how fit you are, how much you weigh, the type of exercise you do. But they are optimistic. So if you're currently, going, yeah, I'm in a calorie deficit. Why are you in a calorie deficit? Well, my Fitbit says I burn 3,000 calories a day. So I'm eating two. Your Fitbit's wrong, right? On average, there's loads of data out about, and some people can go, these can be up to 90% wrong. They can't be up to 90% wrong, right? That's just nonsense. From my own experience, I've used an Apple Watch for 7 years, 8 years, since whenever they came out. And mine on average is between 20 and 30%. If you want to be safe, you want to be a bit pessimistic, knock 30% off, and you should be there or thereabouts. So let's say this says I burn 1,000 calories in a day. If I knock 30% off, I burnt 700. That includes all my active calories. That doesn't include my metabolism. But yeah, too many people are using these as a judgment for calorie burn, and it's too inaccurate to do that. Don't have your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, your Garmin, your Samsung, whatever. Do not have it, right, attached to your calorie counting app, right? And don't be like, oh, today I've burnt loads of calories, so I can eat loads of calories. Oh, today I've not burnt that many calories. I can't eat loads of calories. Really unhealthy relationship, that, with looking at calories and food, because there's going to be days where you don't burn many calories, but you need to eat more, right? There's going to be days where you burn loads of calories and you don't need to eat. Generally, for me, Sunday is my highest calorie day. It's also my lowest calorie burn. I don't do much movement on Sunday. I eat lots of calories and I don't do much movement. Monday, I tend to do quite a lot of movement. I don't eat that many calories, right? It just is what it is. Yeah. So anyway, don't attach Fitbits and all that. Right. Okay. I had a good check-in in terms of results, but also expressed some mental. Yeah. So Callum's checked in, and when you check in with me, you can check in whichever way you want to. I ask for 4 bits of main information: measurements, your average steps, and the exercise you might have done. If you give me all those 4 bits of information, it allows me as a coach to see a full spread of what's going on, because you might have maintained your weight, but you've lost measurements. You might have gained some weight, you've lost measurements. You might have lost weight and gained measurements. It all answers questions. Seeing your average steps and your average exercise then allows me to understand how much calories you've burned. If I know your weight and I know your movement, I can work out how many calories you've burned. And likewise, I can sort of come and say to you, look, at the end of the day, over the last 6 weeks, you've lost 1 pound. And, and over the last 6 weeks, I've set you this many calories. Over the last 6 weeks, you've lost 1 pound, which means you're eating this many calories. It's irrelevant of what your app's showing. So the more information you give me, the more I can be a coach to you. I also say in your check-in, give me a breakdown. Let me know what's going on. That might be mentally, that might be physically, that might be just a quick summary of what's going on. That's how online coaching works. When I was a one-to-one personal trainer, if you PT'd with me, you had to have a minimum 2 hours a week. Well, that's a long time to spend with someone. I had certain clients that I had one client for a period of time that had 5 sessions a week. They trained with me every day, Tuesday to Saturday, right? An hour a day, right? That's a long time to spend with someone. And in that time, I can chat to them. I can extract information and find out what's going on. When you're an online coach, you're online, right? Now, could I have a Zoom session with clients every couple of weeks for check-ins? I could do. And I did start doing that when I used to have different levels of plan, right? And your check-ins were, if you went on my top level of plan, right, you could have a voice check-in with me, and we'd just have a little FaceTime like this. Go, hey, right, give us your weight, give us your measurements, give us this, give us that. How have things gone the last couple of weeks? Yeah, all right. Okay, well, you know what? You've maintained these last 2 weeks. Is there anything going on in the body? I can then extract information. Why do I not do that anymore? 2 reasons. One, it was very time consuming for me, which means I could work with less people, which means I had to charge a lot more money, right? And number 2, It was an absolute ball ache trying to pinpoint people down to book these sessions in. It's like anything with an appointment, isn't it? Right, 10 o'clock, are you free at 10? Yeah. Then I get a message for, I'm still on a work call. Right, well, can we do 11 o'clock? Yeah. And then at 11 o'clock, I've got to go out now and pick my kids up. They're not very, right. Can we make it late? I can't. I'm fully booked for the rest of the day. Right, well, can we do tomorrow? No, I don't work Saturdays. Like, it has to be on a Friday. It's just too, Now, trust me, if I was charging £300 a month for my coaching and I had 20 clients, right, I would do it on a Saturday. I'd do it on a Sunday afternoon if needs be. I'd do it at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I don't charge enough to make myself that flexible. And actually, those clients that first came on board doing that, it wasn't needed. Every 2 weeks, sometimes we'd be like, everything all right? Yeah, good. What have you done weight-wise? This. How was your movement? How's the last 2 weeks gone? It's been great. I've been on it. Lovely. Right. Off we pop, So in the end, I knocked it on the head, and because it really wasn't needed. It really, really wasn't needed. So, but I ask you for the information. It's down to you whether you give it me. So as Callum said there, it's his check-in, and he's really happy with his check-in. But he's also expressed some mental struggles. And if he expresses some mental struggles to me, I can then have a look into, I can try and give him some guidance. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm very good at the psychology of weight loss and how our brain works around that. And I also understand, anxiety, depression. I also understand, different boundaries that we may have because I've probably faced them myself, So there we go. So the moral of the story is the more info you give me on a check-in, the more help I can give you. If you only give me a small amount of information, I can only give you a limited response backwards. And if you're happy with that, I've got a client and she's checked in today, and she literally just sends me away every check-in. But she's absolutely smashing her journey. She's on it. She's on it. She's being consistent. She doesn't need anything more than the accountability of sending a weight over to me. If she ever does start to struggle, I'm there for that client and I will help that client. But yeah, that's the way it is. But the more info you give me, the more I can give you as a coach. Right. Let me have a look. Dan's come in. Is creatine a good supplement to take while doing weight loss? All right. So, what is creatine? Creatine is an amino acid. We naturally have creatine in our body, about 1 gram of it. But it is proven that if you have about 5 grams of creatine in your system at any one time, it can aid performance in the gym. It can aid recovery as well outside of the gym. So if you go to the gym, and it can, you might push yourself a little bit more. Now, when we say aid performance in the gym, it might knock things up a few percent. Please don't think of it like it's a steroid or it's a performance-enhancing drug. It's not. But for what it costs, like a few quid a month, for the extra little bit it might give you, it is worth it. Now, creatine you can get it in powdered form, you can get it in tablet form, you can get it in gummies nowadays, you can get it in many different things. Some pre-workouts have it in place, right? Creatine is a saturating supplement, right? And what that means is it has to be in your system consistently for you to see any benefit from it. And this is why I'm really inconsistent with taking it, because you don't take it on training days. You don't take it on, you can't take it for a couple of days and then miss a day and then take, because its efficacy will really drop down. You've got to take 5 milligrams every day. I recommend taking it at the same time. It doesn't matter when you take it. You don't need to take it pre-workout or post-workout. You can take it 11 o'clock at night time. You can take it 10 in the morning. It doesn't matter, right? And you've got to stay consistent with it. But if you do that, you will see some benefit from it. In terms of a weight loss perspective, it doesn't make a difference. It's there to perform. It will enhance performance in the gym. Now, don't get me wrong. Can that have a knock-on effect, a domino effect? So if I go to the gym and I perform a bit better, will that improve my mental health? That might make me help control my emotional eating more. Yes, if I go to the gym and I'm performing a bit more intensely. Will that burn a few more calories, and that will contribute towards my overall count? Yeah, but nothing major. One thing you need to understand, but if you are, whether you're losing weight or not, if you're going to the gym and you're training and you're trying to be the best you can be in the gym, is it a supplement worth taking for the cost? Yeah, don't expect miracles from it, right? But it is a pretty decent, it is decent to take. Now, something you need to understand about creatine is it will cause some water retention when you first start taking it. It's just a bit of excess water retention. It holds water in the muscles. As your body gets more used to having the higher amount of creatine in your body, some of that water will flush out, so you don't need to worry about it. But let's say you started taking it on Monday and you weighed in on Friday, very good chance you might see a maintain or a gain from it. But that's about it, really. But it doesn't stop weight loss. For a week, it might stop results on showing on the scales because the scales weigh all sorts of things, not just loss and gain, but it doesn't cause fat gain or it's calorie free. Yeah, does that make sense? So it's up to you in terms of while doing weight loss, whether you take it or not, it doesn't make a difference to your weight loss. Like I say, the first couple of weeks of weighing on the scales, that extra bit of water retention that might come into the body might counterbalance fat loss a little bit in what you see on the scales, but it won't stop fat loss. It's just you're holding a little bit more water. But like I say, after a few weeks of taking it, that'll all settle down and just crack on as normal. Yeah. So I hope that's answered your question. Kindly, if you don't mind me asking, what was your starting weight set? I was, how do you want it? I was 37 stone, 36 stone, 10 pounds, 514 pounds, 234 kilograms when I started my weight loss journey. I say that I could have been heavier. That was 6 weeks before I started my weight loss journey. Could I have gained weight over the 6 weeks? Very good chance. Very good chance. So I could have been heavier. I could have been 37 and a half stone. I did in January. So I started the first Monday of February 2014. And that weight was from the 27th, 28th of December 2013. I remember going out and getting absolutely blottoed over New Year's Eve and eating the world. But then I did dry January. So I did dry Jan in 2014. I used to be a very big drinker. So my calories will have dropped quite a bit in January from not drinking alcohol. But what I did do in January was supplement not drinking alcohol with lots of food. I was literally, I ate the world in January, right? So I managed to suppress one addiction, but that increased another addiction. So for me personally, I don't know whether from doing that, from cutting out alcohol but increasing food, I could have lost some weight. I could have been in a calorie deficit. I have no idea. I also knew in January that I was starting my weight loss journey at the beginning of February. I'd already made that decision, but I didn't want to try and combat two addictions at the same time. So I thought, let's do dry Jan and prove to myself that I can control my alcohol. And then once I've done that, I will introduce alcohol back in, but with a much more controlled mindset. And then I'll start trying to work at controlling my food intake. And I did treat January like the Last Supper as well. Because like everyone, when they're starting a diet, I did in my mindset, right, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. That changed very, very quickly. I have talked about that before on my journey. But in January, I was like, yeah, no more takeaways, no more this, no more that, no more the other. Yeah, I probably will allow myself a couple of beers here and there, but before I started my journey, I did change that mindset. Again, I've talked about that story before. I agree. I've been here from the start, and dipping into TikToks to ask questions is great. Absolutely. As a coach, I always make myself as readily available as I can for my clients. So I don't charge a lot of money for my one-to-one coaching. It's $29.99 a month, depending on when you signed up. You might be paying a bit less than that because I will never increase your prices. As long as you keep consistent with, as long as you stay consistent with as long as you stay subscribed, if you sign up today, it's $29.99 a month for my online one-to-one coaching. If you are still subscribed in 2 years' time, it will be $29.99 a month. If you are still subscribed in 10 years' time, it will still be $29.99 a month. right? I will never increase your price. The prices might increase. When I started coaching, it was 20 quid a month, then I went up to 25, then I went up to 30. Hannah, that's on there, was one of my OGs. She was my 8th client that I signed up. Hannah pays £20 a month for her one-to-one coaching. She will never pay any more, and she's still with me now 4 years later. Right? So yeah, that's but because I keep my coaching affordable for everyone, I don't, like I just said, they're doing one-to-one FaceTimes, individual FaceTimes. I don't really do that, right? And so because I don't really do that, I make myself accessible for a lot of time. Yes, some of it isn't just privately in my community, because by coming on lives like this, other people can interact with me. They build up trust in me. They see me. And that increases my business because they're like, I'm going to sign up. If anyone does want to sign up to my one-to-one plan, TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, click on the link, my link tree. First time my link tree is an inquiry form, you can send that over. Second tab is my sign up to my one-to-one plan. Third tab is sign up to my community. So if you sign up to one-to-one plan, you get the community included, but you can just subscribe to my community for extra help and to support me separately if you want to, without coming on one-to-one. But yeah, come get involved. But yeah, I make myself readily available. Now, if you are on my one-to-one plan or you are in my community and you ask me a question on my social media lives, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube, I will try and go into detail and specifically answer it for you. Likewise, in my community, I provide 1 week at least 3 hours of lives, and then the next week 2. So it's 3-2-3-2, and that is an Everything Weight Loss Zoom session, an Everything Weight Loss Zoom session, and a weight loss coaching live 1 week. Everything Weight Loss Zoom session and 2 weight loss coaching lives the following week. So you get lots of support, and you've always got access to me. Plus, if you are on one-to-one, you can WhatsApp me privately 24/7. Right, so if you need anything, you can WhatsApp me privately. So I think the support is good. I hope you think it's good anyway. Certainly worth the money. Hi Neil, I recently had my tubes tied. Can this affect weight loss, as I've had no weight loss since? No. So if you are female and you've been and had sterilization, or you are male and you've gone and had a vasectomy, doesn't make a difference to anything. What you probably struggle, if you're healing from having a little operation, or if you found knock-on effects. And it depends, like, if you're like, I've not had any weight loss for a week or two, it's too short a time to judge it. Now, if you're not losing weight after that over 4-6 weeks, for whatever reason, you're not in a calorie deficit. It really is that simple. But there's nothing from having that procedure done that would affect weight loss in any way. So it might be a case of, right, okay, maybe some home truths. Am I really been consistent in a calorie deficit? Remember, why I said short term, a scale shows your weight, it doesn't show your fat, right? So basically, we've got lots of things that fluctuate the scale. So if you've just had an operation, you could have some swelling in the body. Swelling in the body is excess water retention, right? Or there will be some excess water retention. So you might have lost a pound of body fat, but if you've got a pound of excess water retention from swelling in your body because of an operation, the scale's going to stay the same. Likewise, you might lose a pound of body fat over a week, but you go on to a medication that causes some excess water retention. Lose a pound of body fat, gain 2 pounds of excess water retention because of medication. You're actually going to show you're a pound heavier. You're a pound heavier in weight, but you're a pound lighter in fat, right? And this is why we can't critique the scales or make drastic changes over short periods of time. I had a client this morning that checked in and she'd lost 0.4 pounds over the last 2 weeks. And she was like, and she's not very heavy, right? And I said to her a couple of weeks ago, and I've said to her this through every check-in, look, the lighter you are, the less margin of error there is. And unless your movement is optimal, it is always going to be more of a chipping away process than seeing, pounds disappearing every couple of weeks, unless you're crash dieting. I don't do that. I coach healthy, sustainable fat loss. And this client said, yes, but you did say in your last check-in, I would lose a pound. I'd be around a pound per check-in and I've only lost 0.4. I said, no. I said, in your last check-in, I said you would lose a pound on average per check-in. So that's half a pound every 2 weeks, right? we can't scrutinise an individual result. We have to look at the bigger picture. And since you've been on plan 6 weeks and you've lost 3.5 pounds. We divide that by 6. That means you've lost 0.6 of a pound, or around 1.2 pounds every check-in. So I said you'd lose a pound per check-in with your current movement, with your current calories, and you're actually losing a bit more than that, right? You haven't done in this one, but you weren't questioning your result previously when you lost like nearly 2 pounds in a check-in. Weight's always going to fluctuate. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Yeah. Dan, I only just found you on Facebook. Loving your recipes and looking forward to trying more of them. Keep up the good work, mate. Cheers, Dan. Thank you very much. Yes, I post loads of recipes on my YouTube channel. I give little snippets of that on my Facebook and Instagram pages. I do lots of, on TikTok, I tend to give weight advice, answering a lot of questions. I will then post that. There's just through my social media platforms. I try and give you guys as much help possible with your weight loss journey. I took a comparison photo yesterday. I'm shocked at the difference. They're the best. Absolutely the best thing you can do. Comparison pictures are number one. They really, really are. Right? Because we can get into our... You can't mess with visuals. You might be like, well, I'm very good at Photoshop now. All right, there's always going to be one. But you can't, we can look in the mirror. We see ourselves every day and we don't see the changes. And it can be very demoralizing. Some of that can be body dysmorphia. Some of that can just be, changes can be quite subtle at times, especially when you see yourself every day. I always use the analogy of, if you've got kids, you're with your kids every day, you don't realize how much they are growing, right? And, you then might see a relative that you've not seen for 6-12 months. And then, every Christmas, your auntie from London comes up and she goes, oh my God, look at little Billy. It's not little Billy anymore, is he? And like, oh, do you think? Now, really, you're like, if we're going to think about it logically, little Billy in the last 12 months is, he's outgrown 2 sets of shoes. He's gone up a clothes size. So he's getting bigger. But because you see it daily and it's a gradual thing, you don't quite comprehend how much they've grown. But Auntie Lillian from London, who saw little Billy 12 months ago, sees the dramatic change. When you compare photos from 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 5 years ago, you become Auntie Lillian. You see little Billy from December 2014 to December 2015, and you see those dramatic changes in one hit. Yeah. We went out for brunch with some friends on Sunday. And their son he has just, in the last 12, 18 months, has just changed. He's at puberty, he's shot up. And we've not seen him since like February. And again, I was like, Harvey, you've had another growth spurt, mate. What's going on? I said, you're not fighting. Chris was like, yeah, do you think? I was like, yeah. I said, he can't be far off my height. And we did so I'm 6'4" and a bit, 6'5" in heels. Right, and we did a back-to-back comparison, and he's lit. And Chris was like, "Yeah, he's got to be 5'10". I said, "5'10". He's well over 6 foot." He said, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm 6." So we did a back-to-back, and literally, he took a picture. I was like, "Wow!" So I'm 194 centimeters tall, and he's literally like that far off the top of my head. So I said, "Oh, there you go, 5'10". I said, "How tall are you, Chris?" He went, yeah, actually, I'm about 5'10". And I was like, yeah, he towers above you, mate. So it's, gradual changes, but those before and after pics, and I recommend taking pics once a month, right? And you don't necessarily need to, again, quite short term. If you're going to look at January and compare it to February, you might not see a massive change. February to March, you might not see a massive change. If you put them all together and go January, February, March, April, May, and see these constant changes. It's like a flip book, where you have a little stick man that's, chucking a ball up and hitting it with a bat or whatever. You'll see that change. And if you have been consistent with your journey and you look at this to this, yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's one of the biggest things that keeps me in check at times. Sometimes, like a lot of people, I question myself and this and that. And all I do is go back to 2010, 2011, 2012, Neil, whip a photo off Facebook and just compare it to where I'm at now. And I'm like, it's night and day, you know. I mean, I've lost 250 pounds, so the physical differences are obviously there. I've just sent someone an invitation. Please ignore it. I've just scanning through my phone. You have helped me look at the bigger picture of losses rather than focus on individual results. It's got to be done. It's got to be done, because even if you weigh yourself every 2 weeks, like I recommend, or every 4 weeks, you're still going to be susceptible to some fluctuations that we can't control on the scales. But if you're consistent with your weight loss journey over time, if you've been consistently in a calorie deficit more often than not from the 1st of January, you're going to be lighter now. And if you're sat there now going, I'm the same weight as I was in January, but you feel like you've been on a diet, you might feel like it, but you haven't been consistent, you know? Right, let me scan down and then I'm going. But yeah, comparison pictures, certainly over long periods of time, are absolutely fantastic. And your best comparison is face on, side view. You just need one side view, one face on. You don't need any more than that. Face on, side view, so you can see that bit. So face on, you're seeing that. Side view, you're seeing that. To be honest with you, side view, you might be seeing that, and face on, you might be seeing that. I don't know. It can be different, but one face on, one side view. You don't need to really take your back or anything like that. Your side view sort of covers your width. No, your face on covers your width. Your side on covers your depth, and you'll see some good changes, you know. That is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. Someone struggles with vegetables. Can I do what are we saying? Oh, there's no more to that. Right, I've got to go. I am going because I want to go get a bit of food. I've not really eaten today. I'm starving after doing my spin class. Yeah, so I'm going to go get some food, and then I'm going to pile into check-ins. Rachel's away for the weekend. She's going in a couple of hours to a cousin's. A cousin's husband is gone to Mallorca for his 40th with some mates. I have done very well resisting. Honestly, he's been tapping at. He messaged me yesterday afternoon. He went, "I've just checked on Skyscanner. That 4:00 flight out of Manchester is still there's still seats available." I'm like, go away, I'm not coming to Mallorca. Anyway, Rachel's going over to stay with her cousin because they had a baby 6 weeks ago. So just to help out and they've got another couple of kids as well. So Rachel's heading over there just to help out. So I'm home alone. But anyway, before Rachel goes, I want to walk the dog. We want to have lunch together. We're going to do a couple of other bits and pieces, and then she's going to shoot off. But I will be back in the office, and I'm going to crack on with check-ins shortly. We might go and have lunch now, and then take the dogs out, and then I'll get cracked on for the afternoon. Right, we're all good. Right, so if I've not answered your question or anything like that, or commented like that, please don't take offence. I've either missed it, nothing personal, or I've just not got time to do it. I'm going to try and be back 4:45, 5 o'clock. I've tried to start putting in live because I don't do a live on a. Rachel's not here tomorrow. Should I do a live? Should I do a Saturday live tomorrow? Because why I've stopped doing this because when Rachel's not here, Rachel comes to the gym now with me on a Saturday morning. She don't want to sit in the car for an hour while I do a live. Do you know what? Right, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do it scrapped. I'll broadcast it out shortly, guys. I'm actually going to scrap this afternoon's live, like the weekend sign-off live. We'll do a live tomorrow morning. So I'll go to the gym a bit earlier. Old school, how we used to before Rachel started coming. I'll get to the gym a little bit earlier, and I'll sit in the car and I'll do a live from the car before going to do my spin class. Right, I forgot about that, Rachel. Right, we'll do that one tomorrow. All right, so are you not having your friends around? Yes, tomorrow afternoon. Got some mates coming round. We're going to have a game of darts. We're going to have a barbecue. We're going to have a couple of beers, chilling, and then we are going to watch the FA Cup final. So that is tomorrow afternoon. For a Saturday, today's work. And definitely no beers today because I'm teaching spin tomorrow. Yeah, so keep a lookout tomorrow morning. I will be on live. I'm going to go for 8:15. If I get on a bit sooner, I get on a bit sooner. But keep a lookout. 8:15. Obviously, if you're on Planning the Community, guys, I'll broadcast out. And this will just be on TikTok because I'll be sat in the car. I can't do a live. I can't do a triple stream of a YouTube thingy if I'm in the car. So, yes, let's scrap this afternoon's live. And then tomorrow morning, 8:15, we'll do a weekend weight loss vibes sign off for the weekend. So I will see you if you're free about 8:15 tomorrow morning for about 45 minutes, and we'll do a live then. Cool. Right, TikTok, I'm going. I'll see you. Hopefully, if you're free, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And you guys over here, YouTube, Facebook, we are done. Sorry if you were going to open to tune into a live this afternoon. We are done. Just make sure you follow me on TikTok and you can come on the live tomorrow morning. I will be back on Facebook, YouTube, next live, 8:30 a.m. Monday morning. So if I don't see you on TikTok tomorrow,